Let's make some ornaments. Well, if you have watched this channel before, you've seen me do a ornament where I do a strawberry out of a walnut. In that video, I asked you if you wanted to see me do another crafting project making ornaments, and y'all said you did. So I've got two today. I've got a coon and I've got a little skunk here, and so I'll show you how to make them. Stick around. Welcome back to the channel. So today I thought we'd be doing a neat little craft project. We're going to be taking a walnut and we're going to be turning it into some critters. I'm going to do two today. One I've never done before, and this one obviously I've done before. This is a skunk. I'm going to also do or attempt to do a raccoon, or as we say in the South, a coon. So to do this, if you've seen the strawberry episode, I said just to paint the walnut ahead of time and don't worry about cracking it. Reason why is when I was younger, we had to split them and then pull out the nuts and then glue them back together, and then my parents ate the walnuts because we didn't care for them. With this, I actually do have to split it. Now, different types of walnuts will split differently. So what you do is you have two ends. One is this little nipple part here where the seams come together, and then you got this part right here that's kind of pithy. You take a nut or knife, insert it in there, and just slowly move it around. Conversely, now that Dremel tools are more popular, if you have a rotary tool or Dremel tool, you can take a cutting blade and very carefully cut along this seam here so that you got easy to pull the nut halves apart. So what I did is I actually took a knife, and as you can tell, it kind of broke. It didn't break at the seam, but it kind of comes together. There's a hole there. Don't worry about that. I'll show you how to fix that. So if there's a little hole, not a problem. Naturally, you're going to need some felt. This is gray felt. If you have them, some of these little colored puff balls, micro puff balls, be good. If not, I'll show you how to use a Q-tip. In fact, you'll see on this one, I used a Q-tip for the nose. It works fine. For my project, I'm using 3 different pipe cleaners. White and black for the skunk. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to color a chenille white pipe cleaner and make it gray or any color you really want for any project, so you don't have to buy special colors. I'll show you how to do that. It's very simple. Now, if you wanted to speed things along and you had spray paint, I would highly recommend spray this down with some glossy black spray paint. And if you had gray spray paint, spray down your coon with a glossy spray paint. And if you had some white paint to put as a base coat for primer, that would even be better for the gray one. But since I'm out of black spray paint for some reason, the glossy kind, I have flat, but I don't have glossy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint this down. I'll show you that. And what I'm using is this is permanent black. It's from Master's Touch. You can use any good quality acrylic paint or enamel paint. You could even use craft paint. So let's get started. Okay, so all we're doing here is I've got me a chip brush here, just a regular acrylic brush, and I am painting this in. I'm just kind of rubbing it in any holes or anything. All I'm trying to do is get a base coat. I am really not that concerned about anything else. That's the reason why I said if you have spray paint, use spray paint. It'd be easier, faster. I think it'd be something especially if you have small children, you don't want to lose their attention. And the more that you can do ahead of time, that's really good to keep their attention. But you can also show them the means for preparation. So them seeing, okay, now you got to actually go mommy, daddy, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever that you represent to that child. You can show them, hey, look, that you got to be prepared first and do some planning ahead of time. And so that means first we got to paint the nut, and using spray paint is fast. And so they see that, okay, you're trying to make things fast so that they understand. Alright, so we got the nut here. I'm going to put this off to the side, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and paint the raccoon body. Now it's just a matter of painting this shell half with a gray. I did a lighter colored gray. Okay, so I've got this shell painted up. My hands are already messy, so let's talk about chenille itself. Chenille's a neat little material. Chenille, it absorbs color very well, and it absorbs moisture really well. It's near impossible to find a gray pipe cleaner. And if you do find gray pipe cleaners, you're going to pay out a small fortune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gray, I'm going to make it a little bit darker than what I need. So I'm going to add just a little bit more black and get this just a little bit darker, because I'm going to water this down to the consistency of milk. And when I do that, that white is going to shine through a lot. And so I need something a little bit darker than what I think I'll need. So I'll be right back. Now, since my finger's already messed up, I'm going to use the best painting tools I have around, my fingers. And so this is really great for children as well. They can just, even if they sop it down too much, don't worry about it, because chenille gives up moisture but holds on to color very, very well. And so what you're seeing now is that I am coloring this. It is taking up the color. If you look, it looks like I'm messing up possibly. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix this. It will be fine. Everything will be fine. But if this is too thick, you can always get a little bit milkier. There we go. That's better. I just made it a little bit more watery. I stuck my fingers in the water, and that's what you want. You want it to be very liquidy. You don't want the paint to be thick. A lot of people, they don't understand that viscosity matters a lot with the materials you're working with. So in this case, I need a very thin paint to get these fibers colored. And I'll just actually squeegee this with my fingers and get some moisture going in here. It'd even be better if you possibly wet this a little bit ahead of time. I didn't wet this, but you could. That never hurts. In fact, I'll go ahead and wet this a little bit. That'll just help what paint I have go into the fibers a little bit better. And this will go in here. Like that. Like I said, it looks like I'm going to be messing this up. Don't worry about it. You'll think you're messing it up. You're not. You'll freak out. Don't. There's no need. But now we got this. Now, You can see I've been using this right here to dry off and get the excess moisture out. That's what I've been using this one for already for the other one. So you can see I'm getting this off. Don't worry about it. And now it fluffs up because we did it while it's wet. And the remaining paint is sticking to it. You could let it set a little bit and it would come out to be a little bit darker, but you have to be careful because this is acrylic paint. And acrylic paint will start drying out very quickly. The minute you add water, it starts to want to come out. But that is the gray. And then what I do is I let it sit, and because I fluffed it up one time already, I'll come back and I'll fluff it again. It'll be a nice gray color. I like little red fluffy balls for the nose on my skunks. If I can find pink, I'll use pink, but normally red is the most popular. But if you don't have that, you can take a little bit. Now this right here is scarlet red, and I'm using some titanium white. And so what I'm going to do here is on my paper plate here, nothing fancy, I'm just going to quickly mix together the two into a pink that I like. I'll really want to go a little bit lighter, but that probably will work. We'll go wetter. So I'm going to just add some water here. And the reason why I'm doing that, I'm going to make a puff ball of a color I like rather than buy from the store. And that is where you really come out getting some good quality Q-tips. This is actually Q-tip brand, but if you can find something that's a little fluffier and you want to use it, that's fine. I'm not supporting Q-tip. Any cotton swab, especially the real puffy ones, I like those, but they're hard to find. So there we go. Got that. And then you can just kind of get the excess moisture, excess paint, and there we go. So I'll let this dry now. And I think that's dark enough that it'll look, I think that's dark enough it'll look good as a nose on this little raccoon here, or coon. Whereas this right here will pop more with the skunk, I think. So now let's work on the skunk tail. I need to have a length of white and a length of black that is roughly, I would say, 5 inches long. Alright, so roughly what you can do, these lengths are different. That's the thing about these pipe cleaners are different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pipe cleaner in half. I'm going to fold it in half. Well, actually, no, I'm going to bend it. That's going to work better. And then I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to put this right here and cut it there. Alright. And I'm just using a pair of craft scissors that I have that are foldable. Now, take this right here, fold this up, or twist this up, sorry, twist, and that twists that there, and then twist these right here. This will be my tail. All right. Since this is a little longer, I'll do something very similar to this. But you can tell there's not much difference there. All right. So this will go right here, twist it up. Cut this right here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie marker, and I am just going to color this because that is probably the easiest, fastest, best way to color a coon tail. So I'll be back when we're done with this. Okay, so there we go, our raccoon tail and our little skunk tail. Pretty simple. Now let's get started with the skunk and do some of the finer details that we need to do on it, because it is the most complicated out of the two. And I've got that Q-tip. That Q-tip is rolling. I'd accidentally stuck it in some of my gray paint and it's just going nuts now. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my titanium white and we're going to paint the back. Different skunks in different areas have different designs. So there's two main types of skunks in the United States. One is a spotted skunk, the other is a striped skunk. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a striped skunk because that's what we have here. And I'm just basically going to make kind of a willow leaf outline along the back. I like heart-shaped walnuts better for this project, but they didn't have heart-shaped walnuts. They had a different species that's a little stubbier. So my craft projects don't look the way I normally like them to look, but it'll work just fine. So once I get that, I'll take this #1 manicure brush and stick it in the white paint. And it's just a simple matter of coming up through the nose area and then coming around to the back. And you can make this look as furry and rustic or as simple as you wish. I try to make it look a little bit more realistic, but you can make it as simple or as complicated as you like. Most of this in the back is going to be covered up anyway by the tail, the chenille tail. But anything that you can do to add a little bit extra detail, a little bit extra care, I always think it rewards you and pays off in dividends, because everybody's like, man, it looks so good. Well, yeah, just making little hair-like looking things. It's kind of hard on this walnut, so you can't, don't let it get you so riled up you get too focused and trying to make it look perfect. It don't have to look perfect. Now you could even put another line down, but I won't. And you can do thinner, thicker, whatever you like. Alright, so that's my skunk. There. Skunk. Alright. I've already got some black right here. So I'm going to wash out my brush. Get this black. Use the water from the brush to thin it out a little bit. Here you need to look at your eyes, kind of keep them as a reference point. So I'm going to put one of my eyes here as a reference point. Say, okay, what size do I need to do? Alright, so right here, I'm thinking that's good right there. Do those iconic little eyes, those badger eyes, the banded eyes. Don't have to be perfect. Again, you're painting on walnut, you're not going to get straight lines. No matter how hard you try, and I do try to get as much perfection as I can. But what I like to do is kind of see, is everything about the same distance? Do I need to come over a little bit? There you go. Kind of looks like a mustache right now. Don't worry about that. It will. Alright, there. Make a good full mustache. I must ask you a question, but I'll shave it for later. Ha 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 ha. Bad uncle joke. If you thought dad jokes were bad, you already see uncle jokes. Okay, so there's that. Now, you need to worry about the base. Because I'm all about that base, All right. using my magic marker or my Sharpie, I've drawn around it and made outline. I'll do the same thing for the raccoon because they got two different size bases, and then we'll cut them out. This is my raccoon felt. I'm going to put it away. I'm interested now in my skunk coon because I could not find at the store any type of felt that was black. So I'm just going to take and darken this up with some black paint that I've thinned down. So I'm just going to be darkening this up right now. Now, felt is not like chenille. It won't take color very well. And so you kind of have to saturate it with the color. But you don't want to be so saturated that it's plasticky. Alright, so what I did is I just kind of dabbed off so that it's more colored gray, dark gray than anything else. It looks black right now, but it'll lighten up as it dries up. Okay, so now what we need to do, I've made sure that this fits perfectly over this, and it does. So now we need to start fitting this together. The first thing that I want to do, we're going to get some floral wire, and I want to get about, I would say 3 inches or so of this wire and cut it with my scissors. So just cut that right there. Now kind of fold this over. Since I've got a pretty good round object, I'm just going to start twisting this tourniquet style. Actually, I cut it a little bit longer than what I needed. This was more than 3 inches. Now I just kind of folded the ends back around each other like that so that the glue has something to get on. I'm going to place this right here. And then I'll take some super glue fix-all adhesive. Okay, so this super glue brand. And I'm going to put a good dab of this all over. I want it to get into the felt. I want it to cover everything. This is kind of slow to cure. You can use whatever glue you like. I actually like Duco cement. I like it better, but this will work. So I'm going to take that and get that going. And then that's for the skunk or the dealie. That's how we say it in my language. My people's language is dealie for skunk. And then the raccoon, Gutley, we're going to do this for it. So just do my normal thing here. There we go. Just that. Now we're just putting a good dab of glue right here. And that's for this hook to be curing and setting in here good. There we go. It's all surrounded in that felt, and so it'll hold on. With both those covered, now I'm going to cut this off to make my little nose. Okay. There we have that. Okay. So that's the nose. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim this right here. And this is going to help me to apply glue as I need. Alrighty. So we got Deely, Gutley, sorry. So Deely will get blue eyes, because I think blue eyes and red just looks great. And if you kind of turn them in just a little bit corner like that, it kind of makes it look like, you know, you can do these eyes any way you want to. And then I think that a coon with green eyes would look wonderful. So this one is getting green eyes, or green eye shadow. So first thing we need to do is put a tail on it. All right. So I'm thinking right there is where the tail needs to go. Oops. So to speed things along, I am going to put it right there. A dab of glue on this felt, and this is a little bit worse colored, so I'm wanting this to be right there. And then I'm going to put some more glue right here on top as I need it to grab onto stuff. But I want that glue already kind of curing and getting into the chenille. Alright, so there we go there. That's the underside. Now for Deely, the skunk. here a dab of glue. Put this right here. Get that glue all in that chenille. And the paper I'm working on is actually 2 sheets of paper. For the camera I have a sheet of printer paper underneath, but I'm actually using some parchment paper. So this right here is over here on the side. So these 2 pieces are curing. I'll put the cap on this, and then we'll come back to the other. Actually, no, I'm not. We're going to go right back into this. Okay. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue on my cut off piece of Q-tip, and I'm going to put some glue right here on the back. Okay. The good thing about working with this glue versus something like regular super glue or other brands. Now Ducko, I would say this is on par with Ducko, if not Ducko is better. So the benefit though is that you have time to work with this before it dries. And that is something I like. I like having the ability to work on something, and if I mess up, it's not going to set immediately. So right here. There we go with the eyes. Now we'll Gutley, the raccoon. That's where it gets a little interesting because we got that little badger thing. But don't have to be perfect. Remember, this is just crafting. This is nothing massive. Okay, put a dot of this on there. Put this right here. Turn the eye. Okay. If you like stories, I did one of strawberry, and I tell the story of the strawberry. There's not really any stories I know of. There probably are stories, but none that I know of the skunk or the coon. But they're neat little creatures and deserving of respect. You could even do a possum or a whole host of creatures. You could even do a deer. A deer would be a neat one. Alrighty. Now, set that like that. Get an idea of how it looks. Okay. Now we'll put a good dab of glue right here. Don't be shy with the glue here. Remember, this is your connection to the felt. You need good connection. And if it happens to kind of drip down a little bit into the shell, grab on some areas. As long as it's all a connected strip of glue, that's only going to help hold it better. So there we go there. Like that. I know it looks weird, don't worry about that. Ah, come on. Dealey's being difficult. Little stinker. Haha. Another joke. Alright, now we're just going to do the same thing here. Where it broke, you got that little wallowed out hole, put an extra amount of glue there. Now that's setting and getting the glue. You can see some of the paint still wet on there, and that's fine. I have a little red nose to put on this one. So I'm going to take my little applicator here and put a dab of glue. Don't want too big of a dab, but big enough dab. Okay. Red nose goes there. Put this back on, let this dry. Okay, this all has to dry, so don't worry about that. Just press it down, you'll be fine. Do the same thing with Gutley, the raccoon. There we go. Press that down. There we go there. So now we're going to let these two hang out and dry. Alright, nothing I can do about that. So I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll go from there. Now if you don't have, I actually made these tails much longer than what I normally do. It's probably twice as big as I normally do, so you can do shorter tails. I may end up having to do a shorter tail. I may end up cutting this a little bit because it's too long. I may actually cut it there. I'll look and see. I can adjust. I'd rather have too much and adjust later than not have enough. But what I was going to say, this right here, I didn't have the floral wire at the time, and so I used thread. And so you can just take multiple pieces of thread or ribbon or whatever you got to make a loop and glue it in. It's totally fine, but I just wanted to show you that. You can also use different googly eyes. So this is yellow eyes with a black dot. I didn't have any more of those. I had the other ones with eyelashes. So those are going to be female ones. But you can do them any number of ways. If you need to touch this up, you can always just put some paint on there. So I got a little bit of gray paint, so I may make up some more pink paint after this dries and touch it up there. But there's a number of ways that you can make them. All I'm trying to do is show you what you can do. Now with this one, I used 2 strips of the pipe clean. Alright, sorry about that folks, my camera battery died on me. But as I was saying, you can loop it with whatever you wish. I use some thread here. You can use string, whatever you like. In this case, I used 2 pieces of white and two pieces of black to do the tail. But in this one, I only did 3. There's no tried and true with any of this. Like I said, I'm probably going to cut off maybe 1.5 inches of this just because I'm thinking that it's too long. That's fine. You can adjust as you need to. Don't worry about it. The world is not going to end. But it does have to sit, this ornament has to sit for a good 10 minutes so that it'll cure that glue. And that's what I'm worried about right now, is a good glue cure on this. So that's what I'm waiting on. And that glue is causing the paint to get re-wet because it has a solvent. And so it's actually mixing with the acrylic paint. That's the reason it's not wet paint from where the paint didn't dry. It is from the glue causing the paint to dissolve out and get wet again. Once the glue dries, the paint will be dried. So that's another issue. That's the reason why we say have a pad or something down with these crafts. All in all, it's doing good. I'm proud of it. This right here, looking good. Making sure it's all set. It's doing good there. So we'll be back in a little bit. So while these were drying, I've been just working on other projects. So I've got a little horse here that you can see. Got another little festive deer that somebody purchased. Got a redfish tail that somebody purchased. The church has asked families to donate a ornament for the church Christmas tree, so this is the one that we're donating. I made that. And my wife informed me that we don't have a single feather painting on our Christmas tree, and so I made one for her. So been playing with those while this is drying. Now we're going to play with this. So first thing I want to do is take 2 fingers, fold this over. Actually, go do like this. do one finger. And then fold this up like that and see how this looks. I think that is good, but could be better. So what we're going to do, straighten this back out, and I'm going to 1, 2. Tail should be about 2 times the size of the walnut in length, I feel. It's all about proportions and feelings. I feel that's perfect. What I'm going to do is trim this back a little bit. So when I twist it, it won't have that much white in it. Okay. I'll twist these around real good. Okay. Now fold this over. Spread this out a little bit. Make this a little fuller. And come back with this. So there we go. Nice little skunk. Dealy. As I thought. So 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut here. Just a little bit too long. We're going to twist these, not worrying about any of the coloring on it, because we used a magic marker. So now we'll just take a little bit of magic marker, clean this up here, and no one will be the wiser. So there we go. Gutley, Dealy, Skunk, Coon. Tell me what you think. You like them? Like I said, you can always make this a little bit fuller if you like a fuller tail. I didn't do it with this one, but I was just showing you how to do it. You can add some more to make the skunk tail better. I don't like having a real full tail for a coon, so I kept it apples to apples. But there you go. I think they look neat. Tell me what your family does Christmas. I'd love to hear it. Well, I hope you liked that video. Please let me know what you thought about it. I would love to hear your stories about what you do with your family, what what your little traditions are. I always find that stuff interesting. Please comment, like, share. That stuff, it really does help the channel. And with that, I'll see you again next time. Bye.